Hey, Makoto, hey, can you hear me?
Hey, Vali, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. So today we glad to have you here with us, and basically every NH Cosmos Voice community call with English speakers we have in the following way: we speak few sentences in English, then we pause, I translate, and we move on like this way.
Yep, sure, works.
Okay, I'll translate this, and we will start with probably with your self intro. All right, so welcome, and can we get a few words about you, about your background? Yeah, let's start from the introduction.
Sure. Hi, Posthuman community. This is Makoto from Pell Network. A little bit about myself. I got into crypto around 2017, 2018. Before that, I was actually in the TradFi industry doing banking and consulting. Before I actually discovered this interesting space called blockchain/cryptocurrency. I actually was introduced firstly to Ethereum and specifically Ethereum Foundation, helping them to organize ETH Global Hackathons. And that's how I met first the builder community in crypto in general. And I was very hooked to that. I decided to quit my job and join crypto for full time. And fast forward a few years, explore the industry with a few different business models such as CeFi, DeFi, and I think it was last year we discovered the opportunity of restaking plus Bitcoin plus the concept of omnichain, and we decided to put all this together to start Pell Network.
That's amazing. Thank you. So yeah, it's interesting that you've been to Ethereum first, and now you became more aligned to Bitcoin and Omnichain. Can you a little bit elaborate on why did you choose to do Bitcoin and its restaking? It sounds a little bit unusual because Bitcoin is not a proof of stake chain. So why do we have restaking on Bitcoin?
That's a great question. So I think you're right. I started out as an Ethereum guy, and that's actually where I got to see pretty much all the DeFi innovations firstly happen on Ethereum. Restaking as a concept pioneered by EigenLayer was no exception. And I personally was very much attracted to the business model and value proposition of restaking, which is essentially using a stronger crypto assets, in EigenLayer's case, ETH, to replace a newer, weaker cryptocurrency when it comes to provide security for, say, POS chains or any kind of distributed networks at large. So one of the key value proposition of restaking is the strength of the assets being used to provide the shared security. And if you look at the market, if you talk about value strength, nothing beats BTC. So that's why we had idea of actually using BTC as the underlying asset to provide shared security. And you're absolutely right. Bitcoin itself is born out of the proof of work consensus or network. So by itself, it may not be able to be leveraged much in terms of programmability and stuff. But what we see is Bitcoin actually should not be limited to its own native network. It actually should be used as an asset across the entire universe. So that's why we choose BTC to firstly be the asset, and then using our own proprietary technology to make Bitcoin an omni-chain asset that can be used to provide economic security to any kind of execution environment, any kind of applications. And that's why we see we realize the potential of restaking.
Are you okay to do things like explain me like I'm five? Because I think it's a little bit complicated when a person may hear something like, oh, it is security provided by Bitcoin using our tech, and then we have security for these institutions. But why do these institutions want to have any like security, especially from Bitcoin, and use like additional layer to get this security. Like it's a little bit like, you know, mixed with tons and tons of different words, different things. Can we make it simple?
Yeah, of course. So I think if I just sort of extract the gist of the value of restaking is actually primarily targeting two groups of audience. The first group is actually builders, developers who want to build new distributed networks. Right now, if you want to do that, it's actually a very long process for you to bootstrap your network in terms of validator sets, in terms of network security, in terms of community. Restaking actually can help you take away a lot of this hassle and focus more on your product development, which is going to shorten the bootstrapping phase for developers. The second group is actually Bitcoin holders. As we know, Bitcoin actually does not generate any native on-chain yield, unlike other POS assets such as Ethereum or Solana. So restaking actually can help provide this on-chain native yield to the Bitcoin holders in a low-risk way, so that it can actually help them generate yield on Bitcoin that actually address one of the most prolonged issue that we have seen in the past years of development of Bitcoin.
That's interesting take. I would like to discuss the first group of builders and developers. I find it pretty interesting. Am I right that if builders and developers want to bootstrap their network, like new network, new chain, new project using restaking, they basically, we don't go into details, they basically leverage Bitcoin security through the like Bitcoin security provider, and they don't need to mess with validators, like they don't need to attract additional like funds to capitalize their chain to make it more economically secured. Am I right, or?
Yep, absolutely. Actually, this is spot on. That if a new project that is seeking to bootstrap its network using restaking is going to alleviate the hassle for them to actually having to search for their own validator sets. They have to typically earmark a significant portion of their tokens to attract, reward, and retain the validators. All these actually are basically packaged as a service by restaking platform like Pell.
Amazing. Sounds sounds very convenient, especially for new chains. How safe it is to use BTC on your platform, or users even don't need to like interact with it in the way to provide my own Bitcoins, or how the process from the user's perspective look like if I want to interact with Pell Network?
Yeah, sure. So currently, Pell Network has supported over 18 different kinds of things. So if you have BTC assets on any of the supported chains, all you need to do is to look up for the Pell app on the chains that we support, and then interact with our Pell staking app. One-click stake your BTC asset into the contract, and that's it. As a BTC holder, that's all you need to do. We are currently developing native BTC support, but as everybody can understand, the native BTC programmability and support is much harder to achieve, and that's something we are building.
While you was talking, I tried to open the web page to demonstrate how does it look like. There we go. I will translate what you just said, and we can walk through the application or through the website. So basically, what we can do is go to the application, right? Agree terms of service. I'm not a US or CN person. I agree. So you support 18 chains. Among them are like there's like Mantle, Arbitrum, Babylon, and so on. So basically, I need to connect my wallet, and I can start getting something. So why do we have so much assets like USDT? Why do we have these points for? Where can I see my yield, estimated yield?
Yeah, there are two parts to the question. Firstly is the asset supported. Secondly is the yield. So on the first point, in terms of the asset supported, different chains have different assets. And we actually support basically all the major wrapped BTC assets, as well as what's getting popular, the BTC LST tokens on all these major chains. And that is actually because of market demand. Naturally, that's why we decide to actually support these assets. Now, on the yield estimation, this is because we are currently still in pre-mainnet stage, number one. Number two, in terms of the yield, it comes actually from our consumer applications, which are the projects that are integrated with Pell that will actually pay yields for the BTC stakers. And we have not actually launched that in mainnet stage phase. That's why you see mostly now as point boosters. But as our incoming or rather upcoming TGE and mainnet launch is finished, this will actually be better translated into more tangible yield figures.
Just one little thing to add here. These points will be converted to for tokens, or if I will interact with the platform, will I be able to get any tokens from activities listed here?
Points will be converted into tokens, yes.
All right, that's interesting point. About wallets supported. So you support, like, major wallets are in support currently. Bitcoin EVM, you have Unisat. What are the BBs like Babylon point or bounce Bitcoins and solve, as I can understand, it's solve BTC points, right?
Yeah, so in some of the risk-taking partnerships that we have been doing with our partners, the stakers can not only get the incentive and rewards coming from Pell, but our partners sometimes also offer their rewards to the participants as an added incentive.
What are these two tabs, which are like Getaway and Campaign?
Yeah, so we have actually launched multiple campaigns, and some of these are highlighted campaigns or featured campaigns that we have been working with our partners. As I've mentioned, there are sometimes campaigns or partnerships that we do that offer multiple rewards to the users. So these actually are, in a way, I would say, more rewarding campaigns for users to participate.
Do you want to add anything from your personal perspective? Because I was asking from the user perspective, if I were the just user who came to explore all the Bitcoin staking features on Pell Network. So these were the questions I would ask. So if maybe from the founder's perspective, you have something to share about current Bitcoin landscape, about restaking landscape, what we can pay attention to on this coming like bull market, like, or maybe you have other thoughts you have to share with us.
Yeah, so I think a couple of things. Firstly, on our website, currently, as Vali has accurately pointed out, it's more user-facing. So if you are a developer or a builder, you currently don't find a lot of information that's presented right to your face. So we are actually actively building this section beyond sharing documentation and stuff. So if you have a project that you want to build and leverage Bitcoin restaking, reach out to us. Our DMs are open on our socials such as Twitter and Discord, and we will be in touch. That's the first point. Second point, on the broader market's perspective, I think the reason why we set out to do Bitcoin restaking is also in part motivated by other builders in the space that have actually thrown in a long hours building what we call a Bitcoin Renaissance movement. That we have actually lived long enough in the era of Bitcoin merely serving as a store of value without actually much application in the DeFi space. But since last year, we have seen actually many more developers, old and new, joining the force to actually build and extend Bitcoin's utility. And we believe actually if we continue to build in this space, and we will be one day reaching the inflection point of making Bitcoin DeFi as a new big broad category of crypto industry. And if we look at Bitcoin's market cap with 2 trillion market cap, it's going to be huge and massive opportunity for everyone that's building in Bitcoin. And that's why we are still very convicted and committed to the space. And finally, I think as we have seen, especially in the past 1 to 2 months, due to market jitters, a lot of the altcoin price or value have actually plunged a lot. But if you look at Bitcoin, it has essentially fell from a local high of nearly $1,100,000 to now hovering around $98,000. So the relative price stability of Bitcoin further validates our point that if you have had Bitcoin being used as the underlying asset securing your network, then you can literally sleep at peace at night.
Very, very well said. You know, a few days ago, one of the major centralized exchanges was hacked. I sure you were pretty aware about the situation with Bybit. Was you personally like affected by this, or your company or your project? And what do you think about the accident itself? It's just interesting to know from the founder's perspective.
Yeah, of course. Firstly, it's a very, very unfortunate event that such a massive, humongous heist has taken place on Bybit. And I have been personally following some of the latest news and also sort of trace to the exact reasons why a hack was even possible and how it was put off. And I think, of course, we have all seen how quickly the Bybit team has responded to that. And I think they have not actually paused or halted withdrawal from the users. I think that very quickly helped establish confidence from the user's perspective that Bybit is going to hold strong and survive this unfortunate incident. And I think my personal perspective on that is it's getting more and more complex and sophisticated in terms of attacks to networks, to exchanges, to organizations and institutions operating in crypto space. As we have seen that there are so many intricate, delicate details and very carefully orchestrated process and steps that has been planned and executed in the Bybit hack. And honestly, I doubt any other entities, if they were targeted, could actually have prevented this from happening. And that itself is very scary. But I think what we have also seen is that all the centralized exchanges have then stepped up actually their own security measures, their own sort of risk control process to make sure that this does not take place on their platform. On the other hand, I would say that blockchain actually was born with the principle of being a decentralized and permissionless space. So I think this actually adds color or sort of shows a potential perspective where more and more self-custody, more and more pure on-chain operations and ecosystems are going to develop. I mean, we have seen this already as a trend, but I think this is basically another wake-up call to all the crypto participants to actually have that feeling that it's better to have the assets controlled by myself rather than entrusting that with a third party.
I have nothing to add, to be honest. You know, my personal feeling from this Bybit hack was something like, that's, first of all, that's very vicious and extremely unfortunate event for people who trusted to the centralized party such as Bybit as a centralized exchange. And I was thinking that this is so nice that I do not use centralized exchanges at all, because since first events where centralized exchanges started to block some users' funds depend on their geographical location, their country and stuff. So I withdraw everything from the it was Binance at that time, and after that I haven't even haven't had any small piece of thought to put anything to store it on the centralized exchange or any other centralized entity. So I fully do self-custody. And this is one more as you correctly said, this is one more call to action to go self-custody. And also last thing I want to add here, recently I published a video where I said what's wrong with crypto, and it's nothing wrong with centralized exchange, nothing wrong with people, with government, with itself. The problem is with trust, because with trust is engaged, someone will find this point and will exploit it and will use this point of trust, and things like this will happen definitely. So we have to remove trust and go trustless.
Yeah, I think definitely it has been a very long journey for all of us, really trying to basically produce the kind of product that can really rival the user experience of centralized exchanges. And I think our friends building different kinds of decentralized exchanges are now having really a tall order in front of them and a stronger feeling or sense of mission that they need to accomplish. And I think we are actively working with partners for that as well. But I think if we really look at it from a different angle, the recent market has been relatively flat, not really a particularly exciting time, be it on the upside or downside. But with such a huge hack, what I read today is that the flat market remains flat. Or if we use a better word to really describe this, is it shows the market resilience. So I think despite the unfortunate events of this massive Bybit hack, we as an industry actually still stand strong. And that actually adds to me personally more confidence into building the future of blockchain and crypto.
Absolutely. All right. So I think that's pretty much it. If you have any conclusional words for people who will watch the video, who will watch the recording, who is here right now, for Pell Network users, Pell Network developers, investors, whatever.
Yep. Thanks a lot again for Posthuman team for inviting me to this chat. Really enjoying the time talking to Vadi. I think you have one of the most insightful and straight to the point questions. So I really enjoyed the Q&A. And for those who are listening, would appreciate it if you can give our Twitter account a follow, join our Discord channel, as we can share more up-to-date developments of Pell. And as I've mentioned, if you're a builder in the space, reach out to us. More than happy to actually see how we can help you bootstrap your project and really help to build more efficient and user experience focused products in the space.
All right, wonderful. Thanks once again for joining us today. I really also enjoyed the conversation. Some of things gave me a new angle of of this Bybit hack of the industry, I learned for myself that we have this option to leverage Bitcoin security via restaking. This is very interesting thing. I wasn't really deep into learning how, for example, Babylon or other networks utilizing Bitcoin staking or restaking work under the hood. But yeah, anyways, once again, thanks for joining us. I also said to the community when we just started that I also made a short interview with you, and I will publish it shortly. So yeah, once again, thank you, and have a great day.
Looking forward to the video publishing. It's a very interesting string interview that we did together. Thanks a lot, Vali and the team. See you next time. Bye.